I think ideation is perhaps one of the most difficult elements that YouTubers face, amongst a lot of other things. But there's something about ideation that really can prevent you from making things. You get stuck because you don't know what to make next. You don't know what you should put out. You want to make a good video. You want a video that people will watch. But you'll end up putting a lot of work into a video, thinking it'll be something that people will watch, and then people don't watch it. It's not always that the video didn't deserve an audience. It actually might. But right now, with how YouTube is, especially if you're a new creator, you're likely not going to get a lot of traction right away when you first start. And there's a lot of YouTube advice out there, an overwhelming amount. And the strange thing about YouTube advice is that you'll hear both sides of the coin. You'll hear, do this, and then you'll hear someone else say, don't do that. And that's everywhere. One person will be telling you one thing, and then another person will be telling you the opposite, constantly, in like every direction. So it's weird, like, what advice do you listen to when you're trying to build a channel? It's frustrating and confusing. And then sometimes when you don't feel like you have a good idea, you don't put anything out. And then sometimes you do put out maybe something you just kind of threw together last minute, and it does all right. Maybe even good. It's a bit weird where YouTube is in 2026. The algorithm feels like it will reward low effort content almost more than it will reward high effort, highly produced content. Not always. If a channel is well established and has a good reputation for producing high production videos, people will still watch it. But people will also, the same people will still watch something that's super low effort that someone just, took 15 minutes to make. The time spent is the same. So it makes you wonder, like, how valuable is a single piece of content, regardless of how much time you put into it? I remember when YouTube was a lot older, and I'm sure this channel is still around, but there was a really cool channel called the Slo-Mo guys. And these guys would go to a lot of work to make their YouTube videos. They would get really high-speed cameras that could record in super high frame rates. And they would do these crazy videos where they're either blowing something up or smashing things together. And you would watch the slow motion replay of like physics and two objects colliding. It could be like a bullet through a test dummy, or a car running into a wall. They've done some pretty crazy stunts, or just like slicing a melon with a katana. And watching it in slow motion was a really cool thing. It was a cool channel, and that was all they did, was just slow motion videos. But when I think back about it now, the amount of effort that would have went into making each one of those videos was astronomical. Some of them would have been easier than others, but a lot of those videos would have taken a lot of time to create. And now, I've watched enough Slo-Mo guys videos that I don't really need to watch anymore. I'm kind of, more or less finished with watching them. Maybe I would go back and check them out from time to time, but I'm not subscribed to them anymore. But I wish them all the best. But it's funny how a piece of content like that can be put beside another piece of content where someone is just reacting to the Slo-Mo guy's video. And people will choose to watch the reaction video over the original piece of content that was made, that was like highly produced and took a bunch of time to make. And the reaction video like only took the amount of time it took to record it and then pretty much upload, with probably minimal editing. And now I'm not saying this to throw shade on reaction channels. Like, I've watched my own fair share of reaction videos, and some of them I've actually found pretty amusing. But it has led to this evolution within the content sphere inside of YouTube, where there has been a massive devaluation of high produced content. In other words, like all the cost of all content has been deflated. Like the value of each piece of content is now just like really low. So if you're a YouTuber starting out now, you know, if you have a beat on YouTube, or I should say a read on YouTube, like, you know, you got your pulse on it and you really understand it, you're probably going to have a successful channel and you'll be able to blow up right away. But if you're not super well versed with YouTube and you're just kind of grinding away and trying to figure it out as you go, you know, it's going to take time. And, you know, even like top creators too can struggle with getting views on certain videos. They're like not meeting previous metrics, or they're starting to see a slower trend downwards in their channel. And it's not always because their videos are bad. It could just be that people have grown tired of them and they want something new and something fresh. It could be that they've grown tired of that creator, or tired of that style of video that creator puts out. And so there is some value in having videos that can really be all over the place. You know, it doesn't have to conform to one specific niche. You know, if you do want to go chase trends, you can do that. But there is still value in having a niche in a channel as well. This topic is actually pretty challenging to talk about, because when you think about the complexity of YouTube in general, it's a pretty amazing piece of technology that we have as humans. Like, it's fascinating. Like, when you really think about how much content is uploaded every single day, the total amount of content that exists within the world today is growing second by second. It is this massive behemoth, a monster that continues to grow and grow and grow. And it makes sense why there's so much demand and need for these data centers, because it's becoming exponential. You know, the more people that become content creators, the more content that is being created. There's massive requirements to be able to store all this data. It's an insane, like, incredible amount of data. And you could maybe say this is why some people believe we are already in the singularity, because if you just consider the amount of data that's being produced on the internet alone, it is a exponential curve. There are more pages being created on the internet, more videos, more video games, more books that are uploaded. There's more of everything being uploaded day after day, and that curve, as far as I can tell, is an exponential curve. It's not linear. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like things are speeding up, and it's pretty wild. So yeah, it leaves a lot of new creators also in the space of really trying to, you know, make it on YouTube, but there isn't really any guarantee if you're going to make it or not. Like, of course, you can say, yes, just don't give up, keep uploading, just keep going. And that's pretty good advice, because ultimately you're not going to be able to get views if you don't have videos on your channel. You're going to need more and more videos. But the old advice of having really high quality content on your channel, honestly, I don't even think it applies anymore. And yeah, this is just some other guy talking about YouTube and what his thoughts are on it, and, you know, yada yada yada. There's other people who will still tell you that high quality content is important, and to a degree it is. But when you're putting that piece of content, like a high production piece of content, beside a low effort one, and someone clicks the low effort one, that high production piece of content has now been devalued. Someone chose to watch a reaction video rather than the actual video itself that had a lot of work put into it. It's crazy. And so this is deflation. This is content deflation. This is the state of YouTube right now. Now, I've watched a ton of amazing YouTube videos over the years, ever since I've been on YouTube as a viewer. There's some videos that are just truly amazing at how much work has been put into making them, and how much value as a viewer that I have gotten out of them. But I feel like as time goes on, I see these videos less and less. And sadly, even when I do watch them as a viewer, I don't always appreciate how much work goes into them. Now, as a YouTuber now myself and doing this more regularly, I am a little bit more aware of that. I'll be like, wow, someone put a lot of effort into this video. This is crazy. And it'll definitely, at the very least, I'll give them a like. But even likes don't go that far anymore. It doesn't seem like the algorithm really cares if people like a video or not. It has more to do with retention. Did they stay? Was the content novel enough and interesting enough for the person to stay from the very beginning to the very end? And if there's like 100% retention rate, which is pretty well damn near impossible to get, your content is going to blow up, or it has the potential to. It doesn't mean that it will either. It's weird. Like YouTube, it's really hard to understand. And I think there's so many people who feel like they have this understanding of YouTube, and they preach it like it's this truth. But as far as I can tell, YouTube is an enigma. Like, it is not easy to understand this algorithm. And I don't even know if the people who work at YouTube understand their own algorithm. Like, have you ever heard of someone who works at YouTube completely explaining the algorithm from A to Z with complete full understanding? I haven't. And I mean, maybe you could say, oh, it's all because it's, behind closed doors and these people have signed an NDA. It's like, no, I genuinely believe that the people who work at YouTube do not understand how their own machine works. And perhaps maybe the best way to look at how this algorithm works is to look at human nature itself. If you look at how people operate and how people think, just as a small, let's say like a small group of people, if you think about what might these people be interested in, what might they actually want to watch, what is it that is going to grab their attention, that kind of video that you put out might do a lot better than others. But if you're just uploading random stuff like I do, it might not do that well. You don't know. It's going to be hit and miss. But I don't know. Sometimes I'll just upload random stuff and it's apparently slaps on the algorithm, and I have no idea why. It makes no sense. My best video on this channel is a pretty well polished video of Apex Rush versus Trackmania. I made the video because I thought I saw this little gap. I saw a YouTuber who had made the video with the exact same title, and when I clicked his video, he didn't answer the question, and it drove me nuts. I wanted to know an answer, so I made the video myself. And I did a decent job of polishing and answering that question. Not perfectly, but decent. And the video got views. It ended up being my best video on the channel, because I think I answered the question that people wanted an answer to as best I could anyway. And so there is utility in just, going after search intent. But I don't know, man. It feels like YouTube and the internet right now is in such a weird space, especially with artificial intelligence, which is also devaluing content even more, because you can create robot content or AI content so much faster, and at such more massive scale than human-made content, that the value of human-made content is, well, more or less getting devalued by AI, because there's just so much AI content. So unless there's some platform that verifies that this person is a human and there's no way for a bot to ever be on that platform, human-made content in general is going to be continued to probably be devalued. But that doesn't mean don't start YouTube. I mean, like, there's a lot of reasons to still start. And I have a video on that if you want to hear my own reasoning as to why I still think you should start a YouTube channel in 2026. I made it like a few days ago. I think it's a good video. But yeah, there's still reasons to start, like even just, you know, recording yourself just for like documenting your own life. There's a lot of cool reasons to do it, and it's fun to make videos. But yeah, this space that YouTube is in now, it's weird. It's really weird, and I don't really know where it's going. Like, artificial intelligence is changing the world so fast right now, like at such rapid speed, and then humans are not really good at comprehending exponential curves. It's kind of wild. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens next. But, you know, one thing I am really excited about is the future of video games, which I may be making a future video about soon. So I'll be talking about that. There's some pretty cool things coming out in the video game industry right now that are very, very exciting. But yeah, YouTube 2026. I'm curious what you guys think about the algorithm, where it's at, why things are the way they are. Do you think AI has less of an impact than I'm making it out to be? What do you think about content being devalued? Curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Zen out.